Hunters have always been the first to venture into the wilderness. Whether driven by necessity or a thirst for adventure, it is hunters who dare to go where most others won't. Brothers Chris and Casey Keefer represent the modern-day hunter. For most of their lives, the Keefer brothers have tested their skills as survivors in some of the world's most dangerous and unpredictable landscapes. Dropped with only a sidearm for protection and the clothes on their backs, together they will spend the next month scratching and clawing their way over 100 river miles through a land ruled by predators. In a race against time, supply-yielding caches will be placed by the producers throughout their journey. To acquire them, the brothers must beat the clock. As Mother Nature threatens to choke the North with ice and snow, for the first time, the Keefer brothers will find out what it's like to be cast into the wild with virtually nothing. This is Dropped. For thousands of years, the state of Alaska has been inhabited by a traditional population of subsistence hunters, gatherers, trappers, and fishermen. This hard-worn lifestyle demands a constant state of harmony with all things living. This means nothing taken from the land can go to waste, as all natural resources are relied upon for survival. The Gwich'in people of Northeast Alaska take this very seriously. Known as the people of the caribou, the Gwich'ins utilize every usable piece of the animal, from the nutrition gained from the meat to the warmth provided by the skins. This way of life is a must for both the residents of remote Alaska and the visiting hunters who attempt to survive the elements. Chris and Casey have a caribou on the ground. They must protect and maintain their newly found food supply if they hope to escape Alaska's harsh winter. Having spent 5 days hunting in the confluence, the brothers now have enough sustainable food to complete their journey, but it's cut their travel time in half. With only 5 days to reach their fourth and final supply cache, they must hit the river and try to make up valuable time.
I'm frozen, meat's frozen. Yeah, it's all frozen.
Weighing close to 400 pounds, the addition of the caribou meat will make it much more difficult to steer and propel the raft.
The river's really starting to widen out, which is great. Really giving us some flow, allowing us to kind of do a bunch of different things, you know, be able to not drag as much. Rowing bow and stern down through here is actually pretty solid because we can really control the line of where we're going. It's cold, really cold. You think all this movement would keep you warm, but not when the temperature's like high 20s. It's getting ridiculous. It's kind of floating back and forth between the 20s and 30s. Snow dropping. Hands, you gotta kind of get up, stop for a second, get a recharge in. But the view down the river is pretty amazing.
It's been nearly 2 days since the brothers took down the bull caribou. They've enjoyed a day of rest to replenish their energy and spirits, but with over 13 river miles to cover to reach their fourth and final supply cache, the brothers must once again tackle the ice-cold river. As they drop in elevation, they find themselves in dense patches of timber, adding a new dynamic to the brothers' travel.
Beautiful day in Alaska.
Doesn't take long to lose feeling in these fingers.
These big flat sections allow you to kind of warm up for just 5 seconds, you know, keep your mind off of it.
Calm stretches of water allow the brothers to briefly warm their hands and take their minds away from rowing.
We're just trying to get to the next cache, taking it bend by bend right now. A lot of sweepers down here, a lot of things we kind of got to get around, but all in all, what do you think?
Fingers are cold.
Cold.
Feet are cold.
Yep, fingers and feet are cold. Yep. We got to get somewhere and get a fire started here before dark. We got a lot of river to row before then if we want to make it in time.
That giant sweeper.
Yeah, I see that. Let's take a look at that right there. That's ridiculous. Boom. I'm going to shut this off before we wreck into the sweeper. Peace.
The water flowing through the outside of a river bend is moving faster than water flowing along the inside. Erosion occurs on the outer banks, and undercut banks eventually collapse, causing trees to topple into the river. A sweeper is a fallen tree hanging over the water that is partially or completely blocking passage. A strainer is a tree that has collapsed from the bank entirely and is mostly submerged with limbs protruding out. Water is able to flow through freely, but paddlers and their gear can become trapped by the trees and pinned underwater. The ability to recognize these threats and take the necessary steps to avoid them is key to the brothers' survival.
Well, we made it through that sweeper back there. That was a good one, but we got a lot right in front of us.
I got the boat.
You got the boat?
Yeah.
We got these right here, which present a major issue right there. Because you get stuck in one of those guys, especially rowing bow and stern.
Some of them you can skirt through, like that one we can skirt underneath. This one we can probably skirt underneath, but at this point, why risk it? You got a little side channel, pull over, stop, jump out, drag the raft through the shallow, get back in. So it's just time consuming, but
the bow guy makes the line, goes in, then the stern guy gets swept underneath it and gets smoked.
the stern guy gets worked.
The stern guy gets worked, which is usually what I do to Casey.
I've already gone for one swim off camera. I don't want to go for another one, especially on a day like today because it is cold.
The Keefer brothers are steadily making their way downriver, but their daylight is limited and they have several chores to accomplish before dark. Finding a viable campsite is quickly becoming their main priority as the sun dips toward the horizon.
Getting cold. We got to get somewhere and get a fire started here before dark. Up here looks like a pretty good spot.
The open gravel bar is surrounded by timber. This location will be perfect to further process the caribou while being sheltered from the Arctic wind.
It's cold enough, this meat should be fine.
It looks good.
I'm gonna put it on like that bar right there. Try and keep it as clean as possible.
Having stopped for the evening, the brothers set to work moving the meat away from the boat. If the meat were to become wet, it would promote bacterial growth. The brothers must transport their precious cargo to a rudimentary meat cache, where it will be elevated above the water.
I'd like to separate as much as we could.
Chris must ensure that the individual slabs of meat are not touching. Keeping them separate will help prevent the transfer of bacteria should one become infected.
It looks good. I'd say we get it out of the bags though and just kind of give it some air.
Chris and Casey have covered 6 river miles today. Having found a good spot to stop for the evening, the brothers quickly set camp. The addition of the caribou meat adds a new chore to their list as they establish a rudimentary meat cache for the evening. The brothers must keep the cache a fair distance from their campsite and their raft. Having the meat close to either area is asking for a visit from one of Alaska's many predators looking for an easy meal.
It's really dry.
The brothers must now set to work meticulously inspecting the meat for any spoilage.
Not too bad, man. Not too bad.
Then we can start hunking off some layers, keep eating.
It looks really good.
Got a good crust on it right now.
Yep. These tag bags are still dry as a bone, too, which is awesome.
The synthetic bags will resist mold and bacteria that contribute to meat spoilage.
That's one good thing about having snow, I guess, is it's been cold enough to where it's not really an issue. You still got to do your due diligence though and stay on top of them.
I think the biggest thing is getting air to it.
Oh yeah, big time.
If you get air to it, you can keep it dry. As long as it's dry and cold, you'll be in good shape.
What do you think? We got that citric acid. We should use that cup. Put that citric acid in that cup and mix it up.
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of
Make sure that it's got at least a little bit of crust on it. I mean, there's some spots, obviously, like here with the bullet wounds and stuff, you know. I can put citric acid on it if you want to take care of the capes.
Yeah, I may start on that bowl. He's going to be a little bit frozen, but I'll just pick away at it. But we should probably call in the meantime, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say we can keep calling for moose if we want, just because
we can see forever down that way, see forever up that way.
Taking down an adult moose would provide a year's worth of meat for the brothers and their families.
The wolf hide's in good shape. We can resalt it, but it's in really good shape. The air's dried it out, and it's looking really good. If we can do the same thing to the caribou, get him off the head,
yeah,
get some salt to him. We don't have a lot of salt left, but we got enough to do both.
All right. So you want to take care of this, and then I'll get started on that?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. Chris and Casey Keefer are attempting to escape an Arctic winter, but limited daylight has pulled them off the river for the evening. The brothers must now set to work meticulously cleaning and preserving their meat supply if they want it to last the rest of their journey.
There's that citric acid. Yeah, it's got a hole in the bag. Yeah. There's a cup.
While Chris prepares the citric acid mixture, Casey sets to work on the caribou's skull. He must tediously remove skin from the bone until the cape is free, allowing him to salt and preserve the hide. Removing the skull will also lower the brothers' weight load as they travel downriver.
What I'm doing now is going to prepare the citric acid to put on the outer layer of the meat. It's been cold, which is good. It's been taking care of the meat, but I'm always cautious when it comes to that. You don't need a lot of citric acid. You just need enough that's going to coat that outer layer and cook it. And basically, just going to stir it up until it dissolves so that it's in there, and then spread it out across that layer of meat on the top layer.
The spoilage of meat occurs in a matter of hours or days if left untreated. Harmful bacteria can grow on the surface or deep into the muscle tissues. This bacteria can quickly change the color, odor, and taste, rendering the meat inedible. To prevent this bacterial spoilage, the brothers are pouring citric acid directly on the meat at a ratio of 1/4 ounce of citric acid to 1 cup of water. The citric acid is safe for consumption and works by manipulating the surface pH to a level of pH 5 or lower, slowing the growth and development of bacteria. The acid also forms a dark crust on the meat's exterior. This crust prevents flies from laying eggs on the meat, greatly reducing the odds of spoilage.
Get out of there. There's some checks. Ace, what is that bird squawking at?
How's that meat coming?
It's in really good shape right now. I'm just putting a kind of a outer layer of this acid on it, but it's doing good. How's the cape?
It's coming, man, but my fingers, this cape's like starting to freeze up. My fingers are just frozen. It's hard to get in and around there, but yeah, it's coming.
The key is not to drench it. Just kind of put a nice little coating on the outside of this meat. It'll kind of turn white and then it'll start to turn black. And then when you're ready, you just cut off that section of the meat, and underneath it you're gonna have good fresh meat. It's imperative that you check it once a day.
You hear that echo?
Oh yeah.
Goes up this valley for a long ways.
That's what we want. Well, as we're out here, take the time to call for moose while we're definitely out here, because the thing with moose hunting is repetitiveness. You just keep calling and keep calling and keep calling. But you gotta be careful too, because we are standing over a bait pile. You wanna keep one eye open, check your six at all times, but definitely keep calling for moose. Use that opportunity over and over again while you're checking this meat.
Just about done getting the head off of this caribou, which is gonna be nice because then we're not gonna have a ton of weight. I'm also gonna be able to get this cape salted up nicely, so that's first part done. I wanna make sure I get these edges really good.
Chris and Casey must salt the hide to preserve its fur. Salt absorbs the moisture found in the meat and skin, preventing bacterial growth. If ignored, the meat would rot and the cape would be useless.
Salting down this hide is really gonna help to make sure that all the moisture comes out of the hide, because what happens when you get moisture in there is you get hide slip, so the hair is gonna start to pull out on you. So we just wanna make sure we do a good job of trying to suck as much moisture out of this hide as possible. It also helps to make it a little bit lighter too, which is gonna be easier to travel with.
One of the things that's also imperative is that you flesh the cape as much as you possibly can. Anywhere where there could be some rotten meat, something that could go bad, just little chunks like this, it's kind of imperative that you try to pull off as much as you can. That way you can salt that area and keep it super clean.
The brothers will have to constantly check the meat and hides if they hope to make them last the rest of their journey.
Hey, moose right there. Right there. Right there.
Casey has spotted a moose on the fringe of the brothers' camp. Quickly switching gears, the brothers grab their gear as they try and call him in for a closer look.
Hey, just sit tight right here. I'll come back to this point, and I'll just let me know if you see him or what. You want to keep calling. Yeah, hurry up.
No, he's over there somewhere. Casey ran to the camp. Our camp is in a triangle right now. He ran to the camp to grab his bow. He's running back. Let's see if we can get him in bow range.
The brothers are unsure of the exact location of the moose. They can only hope he leaves the dense forest and reveals himself.
I lost him as soon as he went in that bush.
Hold on for a second. Oh, we got the wind in our favor right now.
Just gonna grab the pack so we have everything in case we get caught up in a stalk. Alright, let's go look and see if we can hold the bear.
The adult grizzly is only 70 yards from the brothers and getting closer.
This ain't good. Hey, Bear. That gun loaded. Is there bullets in it? Yeah, Bear. He's coming right at us. Yeah. That went from a moose to a grizzly real fast. Wow. That drastically changes things. Coming right to the meat.
We still gotta sleep here. Dude, I just saw black up there.
I thought it was a moose. I thought I just saw the back end of it go through there.
Me too.
As the Alaskan winter approaches, grizzlies must gain weight to prepare for hibernation. Up to 90% of a grizzly's diet is comprised of plant foods, but protein and fat-rich food sources like red meat and fish are never overlooked. A mature male is able to eat up to 90 pounds of food in a day's time, roughly the equivalent of a butchered bull caribou. Thought to have the best sense of smell of any animal on Earth, a mature grizzly is capable of pinpointing the smell of a carcass from up to 20 miles away, meaning Chris and Casey's freshly processed caribou is an easy target for a hungry bear.
Let's get out of here. Let's back off this meat right now and watch from a distance, because I'm not standing here over a bait pile. No, we got a giant grizzly bear hungry. No, everything's taken care of right now. Let's just get out. All the meat's ready to go. It's fine. Let's just watch it. I just don't want him getting into it. Let's at least back off so we have a way to see him.
I'm gonna leave that bow right there.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's do this.
With roughly an hour left of daylight, the brothers have little option but to camp here for the evening. They must take every precaution before settling down for the night in hopes of deterring any more unwanted attention from the grizzly that may still be lurking in the area.
Man, that water is cold. Rinsing this thing down like this. I don't really think it's gonna do a ton, but any little bit helps, man. Definitely don't want to wake up to a raft with a hole in it. So, especially that tarp, I want to get that tarp cleaned off because we had the meat on top of the tarp as we were coming down the river. So it got some blood on it, and I want to make sure that I can get that as clean as I possibly can. So, got this raft pretty well wiped off, at least where the meat was sitting, so it should be pretty good. I can get a good amount of water on it.
The river's temperature is well below freezing. The icy water numbs Casey's fingers and makes it difficult for them to function properly.
Wow. Man. Oh. I need to warm my hands back. It's not exactly the situation I was looking to find myself in, that's for sure. Being between a grizzly and a bunch of dead caribou, The dead caribou is easy food for him. That's one that he's going to take advantage of. So
temperatures are dropping big time right now, so the meat's in good shape. Not worried about any type of spoilage to heat, that's for sure.
we got a lot of work ahead of us. It's not just knock down a caribou and then everything's cool, life is grand. It actually creates a lot more workforce around camp. So
a little tired, but it's nice having some meat. It really brings you back, fills your stomach up, gives you that jolt that you need. So
chances are that grizzly's gone by now. He really didn't like us. As soon as he saw us, he turned and bolted. But it's just one of those things where if you act like he's always around, you're never gonna find yourself in a troubling situation. So we gotta treat this from here on out as if that grizzly's close by.
Right there. Hey, get out of here.